So for complex fractions, we're going to clear them out by multiplying the top and bottom by the LCD. And in this case, we have some x's there. Your LCD is going to be the smallest thing that both of these divide into evenly. So we know that x has to be part of our answer because both of these have an x. Now we'll just work with 6 and 7. Want to find the smallest number that both 6 and 7 divide into evenly. So that's just going to be 42. So the LCD here is going to be a 42, but then also an x. We're going to multiply every single thing, top and bottom, by 42x. So I'll put a 42x here next to the 1/6, 42x 1 over x, 42x times 1/7, and 42x times 1 over x. Now we're going to multiply and reduce. So 42x divided by 6 is going to be 7x. 42x divided by x, the x's pretty much cancel, so we just get 7x plus 42 there. On the bottom, 42x divided by 7 is 6x. And then 42x divided by x will just be minus 42, and we get that. Now for these, if you can reduce, it's better to do that. So in order to reduce it, we want to first factor. So let's factor the top and bottom and see if anything cancels. On the top, you can factor out a 7, and you get x plus 6. On the bottom, you can factor out a 6, and you get x minus 7. So no, nothing cancels there. But then that would be your final answer. You can't reduce that any more than what you have. But so it's always good to try and factor, because if you can, sometimes there are situations where you might be able to cancel something out. So it's always best to factor your answers when you're doing these kind of problems. All right, so we'll try another one, similar problem. Now in this case, we just look at what is in the denominator when we pick our LCD. So I don't have to worry about the 11 and the 8. I'm just going to look at whatever is in the bottom of the fraction. I'm looking for the least common denominator. So of course it has to be in the denominator of a fraction. So in this case, the LCD is just going to be x in this case. So I'm going to multiply everything on top, everything on the bottom by x. Okay, so I'm going to do 11 times x would just be 11x. And then I have x times 1 over x. In the bottom, if I put an x next to the 8, I get 8x minus, and then I have an x times 1 over x. So now if we simplify, 11x plus, and this will be a 1 because the x's are going to cancel out there. In the bottom, I have 8x, and then again, the x's cancel here, and I get 8x minus 1. Again, nothing there would cancel, and so then that's as far as I can go, and these can't be factored either, and so that's my final answer. Okay, we'll try one more here. Now this, because the 5 and the 8 are in the denominator, now I do have to consider this as part of my LCD. The smallest number that would divide even, the smallest number that I can divide by 5 and 8 and it goes evenly will be a 40. Okay, so my LCD, least common denominator, is going to be a 40, but then I also have to include the x because I see an x that's there as well. I'm going to put a 40x next to each of those fractions. So 40x, and then times 1 over 5 minus 40x, 1 over x. I have 40x times 1 over 8, 40x, 1 over x. And now I'll multiply all those out. So 40x divided by 5 is 8x. 40x divided by x is just going to be a minus 40. 40x divided by 8 is 5x. 40x divided by x is just going to be plus 40. We'll try and factor this. You can factor out an 8 from the top and get x minus 5. You can factor out a 5 from the bottom and get x plus 8. But nothing cancels there, and so that would be your final answer.